Attention, uncircumcised men. I am here to make the case to you that the presence of and permissibility of infant circumcision in your society is in fact an insult and threat to you. Okay, now obviously among my audience, among the intact uncircumcised men that are here, they're obviously the exact opposite of who I'm targeting this to, because obviously you're engaged in the conversation, you're engaged in the ongoing circumcision controversy. I'm targeting the other type of uncircumcised man. There seems to be a general feeling, a general atmosphere of, at a minimum, I feel awkward really talking about how I feel about it. I would be judged. I would be looked at as if I'm judging other people. Upwards to, I escaped. I made it past childhood intact, and with my whole body. I made it out alive, all the way up to, I've got my own. I don't need to, I don't even need to. I've got my own, and the hell with the rest of them. And I don't know. Maybe it's more of the evidenced by the lack of input from uncircumcised intact men in in the ongoing debate about circumcision. And we have a few. We have some really good ones in the movement. Again, this is basically targeted to the people that aren't going to be watching this video. But my contention is that the presence and acceptability and permissibility of infant circumcision is an insult and a threat to the uncircumcised intact man. Okay, for one, it means that the media will see fit to constantly mock you to mock the uncircumcised man, mock the foreskin on television, in movies, on late night comedy, late night talk shows, on comedy routines. It means that Sex in the City will be able to make an entire episode about mocking an uncircumcised man that one of the women on the show had met. Okay, that was an actual thing. It means that Playgirl is going to be doing articles, titled "Circumcision: The Kindest Cut." The media will be making fun of you constantly. It means that, okay, media aside, the culture will be mocking you. There'll be an atmosphere of negativity toward you in the culture itself, right? Where men will say, "Oh, he's uncircumcised." The women will, say, "Oh, he's uncircumcised, anteater." Ooh. To the extent that actually happens, and I'm not convinced that it really does, but again, that atmosphere, to the extent that it does exist, will be acceptable. And I know, let's be honest here, it's not really possible to genuinely insult an intact man, a man that way, an uncircumcised man that way. It's just really surreal to, saying that you didn't have part of your penis cut off as an insult. I keep thinking the immediate comeback, particularly if men are mocking you, is, your own mother cut off half of your penis. Mic drop. I don't know how you come back to that. But the media and the culture it'll be acceptable to mock you. The third way is that the the medical community, any problem that arises, any legitimate medical problem that arises with your genitalia past infancy, say in childhood or adolescence or adulthood, all the way up to the geriatric age, will not be dealt with in accordance with genuine medical ethics. It means total ignorance of the medical field about the natural male genitalia, your genitalia. I'm addressing this to uncircumcised men. That means if you get an infection, if you have physiological phimosis, I mean, they'll use it as an excuse to circumcise children, despite the fact that the average age of retraction is 10, with the edge of the curve drifting off toward mid-late teenage years. They'll use it as an excuse to circumcise then. They'll use genuine phimosis cases, which many of them induce by forced retraction, as an excuse for circumcision. They will use infections as an excuse for circumcision. They will claim that being old. You're old and you can't take care of yourself. You need to be circumcised. They'll use it as an excuse to circumcise geriatric patients, and they actually do this. I have reports from intactivists and nurses. This is actually apparently a thing. They will harass male geriatric patients in nursing homes will be harassed and targeted for circumcision. And if they don't entirely have their faculties about them, somebody else may be able to consent to have this done for them. So you're in physical danger by virtue of the fact that in a country where circumcision is acceptable, the medical profession never actually is burdened with having a true understanding of the male genitalia or acting in accordance with ethical principles in regard to treatment of genitourinary issues and problems. Finally, though, the real kicker here, the real clincher, is that a society, the fact that infant circumcision is legal and is permissible in your society, it tells you as an uncircumcised man that your body, your foreskin, the wholeness of your genitals, the wholeness of your body is merely a coincidence of whatever your parents or doctors were thinking at the time you were born. That your bodily integrity, your physical integrity, which is a human right, was merely a coincidence, and in fact could have been taken away from you on somebody else's whim. That is the most insulting part of a circumcisionist culture and a circumcisionist society toward intact, uncircumcised men. It is a smash-mouthed insult to say that the wholeness of your body, your physical integrity, is based on somebody else's whim and is not actually fundamental, is not actually yours. Your body isn't actually your property. So I hope I have made the case to you why you have a stake in this, why you, as an uncircumcised man, have a stake in the ongoing debate over male infant circumcision, because it is an insult and it is a threat to your very existence and your very wholeness and your very well-being. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'm excited to hear what you think. Take care. Bye-bye.